within the HOTS community. But I think that if there's something that's going to elevate their status, that was definitely a strong way to do it.
Absolutely here. Would not surprise me to see that just banned out. There it is. Not the most well-known Medivh map in the pool, but Medivh is the most well-known hero in the rotation. And it's been proven, so gotta get rid of it.
CCL teams, pick this guy up. See, now Reb has to show that they can play things other than the Medivh, so the enemy team's actually doing them a favor, right? Because, yeah, if you can Medivh out of your mind, that's great for CCL. That's like a requirement, right? But you're also, like, never gonna get it.
Yeah, you gotta be able to play something else.
And that's an interesting component, right? Is that you have to be good at things that you aren't going to play if you're one of those players that draws out bans, you know? Because then
it's
the more
a very interesting practice situation.
Because it's like, oh, how much time do I devote to practice to a character that I'm not going to actually get to play? Because I need to stay sharp enough that if a team ever checks us on it, I can immediately prove them wrong. And it needs to be threatening enough to still draw the bans, but I'm not going to get to play it. Such a weird little fun conundrum and fun result of draft logic.
Yeah, I figured it's like you gotta be, if you're streaming your Ascension and whatnot, you just gotta be like, all right, Thursday's Medivh day, just to prove I can still do it. And then I practice my other stuff. Get back on the train that way.
Yeah, I mean, it's like what I do every season. You know, I climb up to Grandmaster just to prove I still got it. And then I'm like, all right, forget Storm League, it's awful. And I stop after that. You know, all it takes is a quick $100 on Venmo, I get boosted up to GM, and then I can call myself a good player again. That is a strong opening coming out from right side, I gotta say. C2D2, Reb, Sonya, Falstad. Even with the W talents not fully available for Falstad for that right side, that is a scary opener.
Very, very strong. I believe, I'm trying to think if Falstad can do that back camp alone now. I don't think they can quite do it, but Sonya sure can. ChampOfHorde with the Rexxar, we get to see it.
You know, we could totally see everybody just play what they want to play. We could see ChampOfHorde on his Rexxar, AOERules on his Vala, and VaLCarriedU on his Valera. Ah, never mind.
Denied.
I actually think that ban makes a lot of sense. Sonya does not like being CC'd, especially if she invests into Leap. Valera is amazing counter-engage onto Sonya's Leap, immediately shutting her down soon after she lands.
Yeah,
I think that's a smart ban.
Sonya building into Slam these days means Sonya wants to cast an ability. It's not an auto-attack build. So if you get that nearly 3-second silence, you get some follow-up CC on top of that. If you got Uther and Brightwing on your side, you got Misha Bear. Sonya's going to have a bad day if you see that Valera that's able to engage from a range outside of Leap to shut you down.
Even with Sonya's trait, her move speed is gated behind having abilities cast. If Sonya's not able to consistently cast, that can present problems for her ability to stick or run away as necessary.
Deckard Hanzo.
Vivanchey has got to feel weird having the Hanzo picked next to him, but not being able to pick it himself. I know, it's like,
bad.
I've teamed up with the occasional Tracer, and it's like, trade me!
But we've got a possible Dragon Strike setup with this Deckard. Could be a zone control, and that makes me wonder what Finalstand's going to pick up in this last slot. Diablo is up and available, though into Uther Brightwing, that could be a bit of an issue. Could it be something like a May, like just slows, pushes, try to keep people in that Hanzo ult?
This is a very interesting setup right here.
Nara Gul'dan. So, I mean, clearly the play is they're going for ultra slow, ultra long fights.
Hear me out
You've
on
got
this
the
one.
Brightwing Uther. All right.
Ana.
Last
I
pick.
don't care that it doesn't strictly fit conventional team comps. I feel like that team just loses if you pick Ana. They can't burst kill to punish the fact that you have Ana Deckard, so they can't burst kill to surpass it with the comp that they have. They're double healer. A lot of their healing gets shut down. You have a massive uptime on minus healing between Emerald and Biotic Grenade. And honestly, I doubt it's in the pools to make it work in that comp with Ana.
Sure, yeah.
But I honestly think, but I honestly think that Ana, as a last pick right there, could have been devastating to the prospects of that left side trying to win the fight, especially when you factor in that stuns give 50 armor with the smelling salts. That could have been very strong, but like I said, pools don't always shake out that way, and maybe that's a little too wild for these players.
It would have been down and funky, that's for sure. Having the Sonya front line while also being the main camp clear and camp take. It's a lot to put on one hero, but Sonya's got a lot of got some big shoulders, can possibly carry something like that. It would have been interesting.
She is a strong woman. Regardless, in what may be the last game of tonight, who knows? Vivanchey is going to be playing Deckard. Finalstand on May. C2D2 playing that Sonya. Reb on Falstad, and a Bloodknight taking it with the entirely full default Hanzo.
Most excellent indeed. On the left in the blue, AOERules going to be playing Lunara. VaLCarriedU on the Gul'dan. SQUIRREL playing Brightwing. Ascension on the Uther. ChampOfHorde on that favored Rexxar.
I will say one thing that always comes to mind whenever you're playing a double support comp is that typically you get your victory through fighting. Healers don't do that much in Heroes of the Storm other than fight. They don't have a lot of macro pressure. They typically don't take camps very efficiently. Typically, the way that healers are balanced is that they're not really good at anything other than fighting. But that of course means that they have to be really good at fighting, because else why else would you pick a character that only fights? So when you pack two of them, your team fighting can really tend to be something special. And so that, for me, is a bit of a point of concern for Red Team, because...
ChampOfHorde? Oh, whoa, Sonya actually goes down to the tower before ChampOfHorde goes down. SQUIRREL with the teleport just in time. Both teams playing a little bit of chicken there in the top lane, as the Chicken Lord himself remains to soak those minions.
Yep. And I gotta say, you know, just even the fact that they have a Brightwing, partially because they have double support. And that shapes up already in their fighting in the first minute of the game. What we saw from Red Team is that their team fighting was where they came out ahead of the other team. That may not be such a realistic prospect going into this second game. So it's entirely possible that Blue may have switched the script a little bit and said, okay, you know, you beat us through your fights before, but now we have a better fighting comp than you. Can you do it again? And if you try to replicate your success in the same way, maybe you don't get the same result. It's an interesting complex. Complex? I don't know.
Especially, it's especially interesting on a map here
Oh,
like
Bloodknight.
Alterac Pass.
You'll be
Bloodknight
okay.
manages to get away there. But Alterac is a map that you can win through some macro measures. Like you get the push, you get some movement in the off lane. You don't necessarily always have to fight to win. Though, like you were saying, you know, these teams are built to fight. So I'm interested to see if Red makes any kind of adjustment into this comp here from Blue, or if they just say, we think we can out-mechanic you and get through to the victory.
You know, I honestly think that out-mechanicking other players is a bit, I don't want to say underrated, but I feel like people act as if you always assume that two teams are of equal skill, and that's just not true. You always, like, everyone just sort of assumes that all the players and teams are going to be of equal skill when they're talking about their theory crafting and their drafting, when in reality, if you look at professional sports, entire game plans are designed around skill differences. And so I definitely think that there is merit to the idea of, hey, we're going to force them into a certain style of play because we're just better at team fighting than them. I think that there's absolutely merit to that idea, and it's an idea that gets ignored far too often in video games when it's just a well-established part of regular, traditional sports strategy. If you have one player that's very weak to double teams, you acknowledge their skill, and you force the double teams on them. It's no different.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where people don't really think of that, because it's not... When in traditional sports, it's all about, like, your body. Someone's body is just better. Like, but in this, it's not like your Sonya does more damage and has more health than someone else's Sonya because you've trained more. So people don't really they don't see that there's still a lot of skill and a lot of difference behind the keyboard, despite the stats being the same no matter who tends to pick up that hero.
And that's one thing that I always kind of liked about MOBAs, is the fact that, hey, if I go play a MOBA right now, and I boot up a character, I've got the same characters that you do, I've got the same stats on those characters that you do, which wasn't always the case in HOTS, you know, like you can argue it's not the case with having to unlock the characters, unlike in a game like Dota where they're all free, but I remember in the early days of HOTS, we actually had a system where you needed to level up on a character to unlock all their talents. You did not have all the talents from the start.
You just didn't have the right stuff.
And so your friend would be trying out a character, and he's like, "Hey, what talent do I go?" And you're like, "It's the third one." And they're like, "Oh no, I can only pick the first two." Like, I haven't played the character enough. Oh, that was an awful system, and I'm so glad they took it out.
Well, yeah, because it was weird. Like, you'd go through and just be like, okay, these heroes actually have a decent build in the first 2 talent picks. And these ones are completely unplayable unless you've got 3, at least, on these tiers. And it just didn't work out. AOERules able to slip away from that blizzard, but is it going to be enough? SQUIRREL coming on in with the warp to save the Lunara. And look at all that poison damage coming out from both Gul'dan and Lunara, just peppering up that back line. Deckard, has the potions available for people to take when needed.
Reb,
not
punishing
quite the same
ChampOfHorde?
AoE healing. Bottom lane.
Reb getting out before Ascension, able to intervene with a gank towards bottom lane. Some smart interception towards bottom, trying to prevent ChampOfHorde from picking up XP globes. But ChampOfHorde, he knew it was up. He sent the bear in to pick it up regardless of the attempt to get in the way from Falstad. And so now both teams trading out some damage back and forth, fairly even so far, but notably much more mid lane pressure from blue side, and being able to take out the enemy team's mid fort actually has a fairly significant impact on their ability to take the objective. All of the objectives are fairly near mid fort at all times. ChampOfHorde barely getting off the finish of that cast just before red team caps level 10, but now the burden is on red team to actually take this capture back. With Falstad slowly making his way up, he's going to fly up now, globaling across the map. Red team needs to get some capture time on this. Reb
moving up there, taking a lot of damage from that leaping strike. There's 2 caught in the ice wall there. Horrify came out as well. Vivanchey gets the sleep onto 2. A lot of damage over on the side of blue that's going to be healed off by that Uther Brightwing. It looks like red has been able to control this space and take back this objective.
Still red needing to actually make something happen here, and if they get into a poke war with this blue team, it's not going to fare well. They know that damage traits are going to be healed off more efficiently by the enemy team than they can do. It wouldn't actually surprise me if we see Vivanchey with the tech pick at 13, rather than going Ancient Blessings, perhaps going Super Healing Potions, which is a decision we saw out of a few Oxygen esports players, so as to grant Deckard more healing and mana efficiency when playing against double support to allow him to keep up in a war of attrition. I'm curious to see if we'll go that direction. Reb taking a lot of damage from Rexxar in the meantime, but luckily Vivanchey is here. Oh, that's a beautiful leap, but an even better Divine Shield in response. Perhaps a cleanse would have been more effective without using such a large cooldown purely defensively, but regardless, blue team still going in. That's a Talking Trees-esque gust right there.
Oh,
Big Dragon there from Bloodknight, but Finalstand not really able to follow up. What's going to happen?
Blue trying to get away here, but Lunara is rooted. Great polymorph onto C2D2. The fear not quite layered on as Sonya gets to continue forwards. Ascension getting low on health and mana, though. Trying to use those cooldowns effectively as Misha taken out on the top side. Finalstand gets the slow onto ChampOfHorde, who's trying to retreat through the mid. It looks like blue is going to be forced to back off for now. Red desperately trying to finish this off. Bloodknight's not going to get the opportunity to cast Ascension.
Oh, he is.
The swoop from Rexxar not going to land.
And now red team, all they have to do is prevent blue team from capping, not even really needing to go for kills here, although maybe could have played for the one on Gul'dan. Not looking for any punishment, happy to just take this objective capture, and now blue side will need to defend out their lanes. Gul'dan really their only significant anti-siege at the moment. Wherever Gul'dan is not, I expect some structures to go down.
ChampOfHorde moving on down to the bottom lane, getting harassed by C2D2. Lunara did pick up the Splintered Spear, which will help a little bit in the wave clear, but not nearly as much as something like a Gul'dan just base kit will. Looks like Gul'dan going to be trying to defend that top lane, the majority of blue trying to defend the mid, and that means bottom fort almost certainly going to be going down here for the red team.
But I love that they're opening up a side lane. Typically, you want to push mid first if you can, because this affords you the ability to rotate in either direction after pushing out mid. Whereas if you push a side lane first, then the enemy team can actually cut off your rotation by just taking out mid, and now even if the opposite lane is fully healthy, you can't rotate to it. So, smart decision to defend mid and only give up one fort on the side of blue team. However, that does mean that boss in that lane is now much more effective, whereas there are no bosses in mid lane. So red team has some significant incentive to take this bottom boss, and a lot of tools to help them do it, honestly. We do see Horrify on the Gul'dan. However, that's about their only boss control tool, whereas we have Ice Wall, we have Stay a While and Listen, we have Gust. Red team, I think, has a significant advantage in going for bottom boss. Ice Wall not connecting in mid lane, but hey, that's okay. It's a 50-second cooldown. If you don't land it, you can always try again later. But still, I think red team has got to be thinking about that bottom boss.
Uh-oh, SQUIRREL could be in trouble here. C2D2 thinking about a leap. It's going to land onto the Brightwing. SQUIRREL with nowhere to go. Going to head the other way and head back to the base. And now top boss actually going to be the opportunity for red team. We're here. We've got the clear. Might as well get it done. Could be a double boss play, but Rexxar's already started up this bottom lane. I love this play from blue to try to remove the double boss and the more important boss off the map while they have the opportunity. But can they actually clear it in time?
Their boss clear speed is not looking very good, and Mei actually left much earlier than the rest of her team. Gonna give red team the opportunity to scout this out a little bit ahead of time. However, multiple members of blue team are missing a significant amount of health. Oh, arrow only hits Bear, missing several cooldowns on the side of blue team, and also a Mei's gonna go down right away. They might still go for this, but they're down significant amounts. Leap not up for another 9 seconds. That's not gonna be in time for this boss. However, that's a huge gust. Divine Shield though. Insane. That's a fat sleep on almost everybody. Uther will start to get trait value here as C2D2 rapidly going down. Leaps out when maybe they didn't want to, but that is a red side boss at the end of the day.
Incredible play from both sides there, Mockery. Just the setup, the D-shield in response to the gust, just knowing exactly what the play was going to be. Great job finding the Mei before the rest of the team could get there. Ultimately, red, with that boss control you were talking about, so many different options for controlling the point, does pick that up. They've got a catapult minion on the way. The objective is here. Red is in a very controlling spot.
Yep, red is looking to close out this series with the 2-0 sweep, like we've seen a lot of today. Finalstand, I love that they're picking up this soak in mid lane. That is too many minions to give up, and also would have been too much siege to give up, and now they have level 16 at the most crucial time in the game to have a talent tier advantage. Blue team forced to sit back and clear. It honestly doesn't look like they have any plans to contest this objective at all. ChampOfHorde starting to make his way down, but 16 just barely out of reach for this blue team, taking this null camp to try and give themselves a quick injection of experience, but by the time it's done, they cannot contest this objective. Knowles will help clear out mid lane a bit. They're gonna have 16 for the defense, but they have to eat this objective, even if they may not want to at all.
Defending all keeps is a possibility. It'll be tough here because I'm assuming red will try to push down one of these lanes. It looks like they're going to do a little bit of escort in the mid. Maybe forcing blue to split these lanes and just try to go straight for mid keep in a big push. Interested to see what the setup is going to be. Blue's actually going to hang out here in the mid. They're trying to mirror the rotations of the red team here as ChampOfHorde working on the outside, using that Misha to poke in. Mid objective already taken down to half here.
Oh, arrow, hold on a second.
Come out, is going to land onto the back.
Oh,
leap! Leap falling as well. Deckard. Oh, look at the invulnerable onto the Gul'dan. That's going to be enough, but AOERules is cut off from the base. Look at the health bars of red, though, just bleeding away from that poison. Polymorph stun is good, and that's Mei down again. The gust comes out, looking to disconnect. Misha Bear going down. The objective is on to the keeps. Could this be a triple keep save?
Gotta say, red team, I feel like getting a little bit too big for their britches right there. they were in a fairly commanding position. The blue team was not able to adequately defend every single lane at the same time, and they could have fished out for it. I think the logic was that they wanted to get blue team before they had fully retreated into their base, but it's just so hard to pull that off into the AoE cleanse, into the invulnerability, into the mobility that we see present on that blue team. So red team, a little bit of a throw right there. These keeps not doing anything for them while they're only at half health. This is now anybody's game. Both bosses are off the table for about another 80 seconds right now. Both teams now, all they're thinking about is getting that mid lane advantage at the moment, looking for any picks around the map that they can, but it all centers around these null camps.
Red trying to cut off some rotations here. And yeah, this was a big opportunity for Red to get constant catapult pressure, possibly open up a win condition, but a fantastic defense coming on through from Blue, putting them on even experience as well. And Red is really just going to be forced to wait and try to soak out 20 before the next engagement, unless they can find something on an edge. But it looks like Blue is not going to show on the map here.
Both teams just setting up. Vivanchey taking a smart time to say, hey, we know where we're going to fight. I'm going to set up. Hold on a second.
The top lane.
Oh,
vulnerable.
Little bit of overlap between Feign Death and Divine Shield, but still the response, again, I feel like when red team is playing for these burst kills, playing to get picks, it just doesn't work. AOERules with a beautiful dodge from Reb. Oh, Reb, you gotta pick up the potion, dude. You're right next to it. Oh, no. I think he would have won the fight even, but Reb standing just an inch, just barely out of reach. Could have stepped on it, but a little bit of a misstep right there. Vivanchey a little bit too late on interrupting SQUIRREL's channel, and now this channel is all but guaranteed. Significant XP advantage starting to come into play, or potentially can come into play here for blue side. This is going to be an objective that's going to open everything out. It's going to equalize things back up. Actually, hold on a second. Blue team looking to play for top boss.
Top boss, the target here. Sonya C2D2 is getting a good push in the bottom lane. They actually have the opportunity to grab a keep. Ascension trying to hold this point, going to be interrupted by Vivanchey. The channel finishes. Ascension going to be saved by SQUIRREL there. Ice Wall coming out onto 2. Sonya's actually made it all the way up here. Maybe looking for a leap.
Oh, arrow
as well is going to land. Is that going to be it here for Uther? Ascension trying to get away, but Uther is down. Top boss is claimed, and SQUIRREL escapes. There's a lot of ults used by Red, but that's a pretty important kill here as they stop the channel on the objective, and they're going to get a nice easy clear on this boss.
Yeah, that is just the absolute worst time to stagger, and honestly, it feels a little bit greedy from the blue team to leave Uther there alone. I know you've got the global, but man, Uther is not a hero with a lot of mobility nor escape. It is very easy for him to get caught out, especially into the face of such overwhelming CC from that blue team. It takes just things going a little bit wrong for that not to work out, and now blue side electing while they're 4v5 to just go ahead, cross the map towards the bottom side, take this bottom boss, which is going to at least do something, because they really don't have too much, but I honestly feel like they could have contested this objective in the meantime, as we see red team sent multiple heroes back to nulls. So, at worst, that would have been a 4-on-4 if Falstad had flown back in, and honestly, you take 4-on-4s in this scenario from being behind into this objective, but it looks like instead they want to take the boss, take the nulls, and then with the time left, take a 5-on-5. Rexxar now coming in for the flank, but Reb is scouting it out at the meantime. ChampOfHorde maybe not exactly where he wants to be, but blue team is moving forward.
Red trying to find an advantageous position. There's the rooting boars coming on.
Huge horrify.
Huge fear onto 3. May manages to pop the trait, pops the second trait as well. Flash freeze coming in handy there, moving back through the gust. AOERules trying to move onto C2D2. Finalstand is just slowed forever there. Trying to get saved by Deckard. Needs a potion, but will not find it. And blue advancing very, very quickly onto red there is going to stop the channel on the left, start the channel on the right, and go ahead and save their keeps, because if that went over to red, I think that's at least 2 keeps down.
Oh, absolutely, and then the more keeps you get down, the more likely you are to end, but this is a particularly hard map to end the game on. Partial core damage does not stick, and the core itself has armor depending on how many keeps are up at a given time. So this is going to be a little bit interesting. Red team still has a very long death timer on Mei, and we can see blue team completely unafraid to just walk up and start tanking this entirely at the moment. Farstrider's about to come in soon as blue team takes out the last remaining fort, and they want, at minimum, a keep or two.
Looks like the pressure is going to start to move towards the middle lane here. C2D2 smartly moving back. But May's going to be up in just a couple seconds. We'll see whether it will be enough for this defense. Bottom lane is stalled out on the wave. Top lane is about to move onto the keep. Horrify's actually used there. C2D2 getting a big hit with that triple Horrify. But the objective is going to be cleared away. Ice Wall onto one. Finalstand wants to find the hit.
Oh, good cleanse.
What a cleanse. The Dragon Arrow still going to connect, but no follow-up damage available. Mid-keep is actually still standing, but there, you know, just a couple of hits. That's going to be it for mid-keep. Sonya moving to try to save the bottom. Hanzo on the top lane. Uh-oh, big rotation here coming out from blue side. This objective is still healthy enough to tank this fort. Hanzo coming on through, does not have the Dragon Arrow engage. It looks like blue will not.
Oh, hold on a second. Fly Gust, Fly Gust.
Oh,
no!
Reb's in trouble here, getting slowed out. Look at the connection from the choking pollen of Lunara. Somehow Reb able to get on out of there. That was a sticky situation there, Mockery.
Wow. I gotta say, like I said before, when you push mid, it enables you to choose where you rotate after. So then the enemy team has to split their resources. Notice that Bloodknight originally went top to clear top, after the mid push happened, whereas if you push starting at a side lane, the enemy team knows that you have to rotate to mid next, and they can clear it out. Smart decision by blue side to go for mid first, and they very nearly got a second keep out of that push as a reward. They're actually upkeeps, and that's going to be a double arrow into a leap, divine shield. Oh, AOERules is in deep right now. I don't know if they wanted to end up right there, as they are kind of 1v4ing. That's going to be an ice wall, barely dodged by SQUIRREL. Very well done, but Rexxar is going to sleep. Had to remember his name for a second there. Stun going out onto C2D2, but honestly, I don't think red side is that afraid. Maybe they should be with all this damage coming out from Gul'dan. Oh, the wind tunnel. Absolutely massive. Phase shift. Phase shift not able to finish from SQUIRREL. That's gotta be it. He's going down.
Sorta. Oh no. Oh, the kill onto Deckard and Sonya.
Uther is back, but not before ChampOfHorde does go down, and he's not faking it either. SQUIRREL and Ascension, they've got a lot of healing.
Gosh, Reb, careful, buddy.
Oh yeah, that's you gotta watch out for that. But I gotta say, you will be a little bit low on damage with only 2 healers. Reb now finishing out, and that's a second phase shift in a row from SQUIRREL that just barely can't connect. A little bit too late as it plays out. Now Reb with the chase. Ooh, that's a lot of minus armor.
Oh my goodness, Reb somehow alive through all of that. And I don't think there's going to be any map consequences. I mean, Red's going to come up sooner. Top boss is up and available. Bottom boss in 15 seconds. Finalstand's going to get interrupted by this wave. Unfortunate.
Finalstand, I think, should have gone back for mana. You're going to need that going into next fight. But honestly, as things stand, blue team has no capability to fight without either of their healers. Reb knows this. Reb is completely aware of it and is already getting on this top boss. I'm going to flash talents really quick in our meantime with everybody in their full talent trees now present. Red side guaranteed going to get this top boss. I can't help but feel like getting the objective was maybe the better play, but with those 50-second timers, maybe just a little bit too long for Red's comfort. They're now going to take this top boss. Blue team only just now starting boss, but they do have 2 DPS on hand, so they are kind of shredding it. But will they shred it fast enough? Rexxar going to play interference, try and dismount anybody, maybe bait them out of going to bottom boss, as both of the blue side DPS now on this boss. Now a phase shift, SQUIRREL joining in. There's no way red side can even come close to getting here on time. This is now all of a sudden an even situation.
That's kind of a gigantic wave in the top with the boss. Does blue have to actually worry about their core right now?
Looks like
Rexxar's gonna head
ChampOfHorde
back to try to deal with this.
Both teams with a little bit of pressure on their core, but red sides, I believe, actually credibly threatening to end the game without the reception of any assistance towards their own lane. And with blue team being forced to retreat back into their own base, this does allow C2D2 and Reb to take out a lot of the core health, or a lot of the boss health, approaching in bottom lane, and now still simultaneously an objective captured. It's not too late for blue side to contest, but I gotta say, that is still one healthy boss on the core, making a bit of a judgment call to leave SQUIRREL on it, get as much damage as they can. That boss isn't gonna take out the core, but it was definitely the correct call for them to back off. Sonya taking a lot of damage, and here's Reb. He's on the scene with that wind tunnel.
Nice wind tunnel there. The Horrified trying to split off Finalstand, but getting healthy with those potions. Dragon Arrow into the backline. Gonna land on the 3. C2D2 with the leap. Finalstand has to get into the trait to stay alive. C2D2 trying to get away from Ascension as well. Brightwing gonna go down. Look at the health bars. ChampOfHorde so low. Finalstand on the chase. One more auto. Ascension has the save. Bloodknight gets leapt on by AOERules, but look at the afterburner from Reb. That's gonna be Lunara going down. 3 for 1. Trading out the Hanzo. Finalstand.
The trades aren't done yet.
Here. ChampOfHorde being chased out. C2D2 with that movement speed, almost certainly taking out the Rexxar.
Lands the spear, and that's got to be game.
Yeah, we've got the objective on the way. 4 down here. Keep almost taken out. And Red looking to end this series.
Yeah, short of Red letting go of their keyboards, linking arms, and singing Kumbaya with eyes closed, this is seeming to be a guaranteed finish for Red side after a very well-played and exciting last team fight right there. That triple leap, I really think, set the tone for a lot of the fight. It set blue side in panic mode, trying to get everything back together. I'm a little bit surprised to not see investment into the AoE Divine Shield. I feel like into the Dragon Arrow Leap sort of, combo onto a clump of heroes, I feel that it would have made a lot of sense, but instead opting for the Resurrection afterwards, which, as we can see, didn't really do a lot of good for them in that mid-fight. Certainly an interesting way for things to play out, but that completes another 2-0 here tonight, Crush.
Yeah, I mean, I can see what you mean with the AoE shield. It's one of those situations where you're going, well, we should be able to intercept the Dragon Arrow, and we should be spread out enough for the leap not to land on the back line. But the reality of the situation was that was how they were going to lose if those things happened. So, you could think of it one way or another. In that particular spot, I think I agree. The AoE D shield could have been the way to go. But what a day of casting here, Mockery. A lot of great games.
I'm tired. I wake up early in the morning. I go to work for, 8 hours. I'm out of the house really 11 hours from when I wake up to when I get back. And I go right into casting. Oh, man, I'm tired. But either way, I had a lot of fun. Thank you for doing this with me here tonight, Crush. I had a great time. I appreciate you being here start to finish, bud.
Solid 4-hour session. Gotta love it. We got the lobbies, and big shout out here to the CCL team. The lobbies were up and running. Everyone was in there. It was, everything ran very smoothly today. We didn't have to worry about the admin at all. We were just free to come in and cast some games. So big shout out to them. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Absolutely. This was a lot of fun. We appreciate you all putting this together, because all we really got to do... I did not set up scenes. I showed up home from work. I set up my scenes for about 10 minutes, and it's 2 scenes. So, I think that goes to show that just... It really helps the process so much when we've got other people helping to get things going, recruiting, social media, organization. It plays such a big part. Thank you, HeroesHearth. And thank you to the orgs. I saw Chris from Onyx Legend was also helping run some of the lobbies. Ganja Goon was in here helping run some of the lobbies. That's some good stuff right there. Always love to see the community involvement in these games here tonight. All right.
Just quite the event. I think we've done our duty. We're ready to close it out.
Yeah, let's blow this popsicle stand.
Have some chillax time for the rest of the evening. I think we earned it.
All right, Krushinator. If you would like to self-shill, this has been entirely on my own stream. Krushinator, in his entirely selfless giving persona, just coming out and helping us out here. Love it and appreciate it. So, Crush, I want you to, take some time for yourself for a second. Tell us about you. Where can we find you, buddy?
You can find me doing all sorts of Heroes of the Storm casting, little gameplay now and again over on my personal channel, twitch.tv/thekrushinator. Give me a follow. You can see when I go live. When I'm not live over there, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Twitter, I'm on YouTube. Just give me a search there on Google, The Krushinator. We'll bring all of my stuff up. I'd be happy to see you over there. I love casting Heroes of the Storm. I love this game, and I'm going to keep on going here until the lights go out. So hopefully I'll see you over there sometime.
Rock until the wheels fall off.